Welcome to this week's Powerback episode. Today, we're going to talk about that thing that you're trying to run far, far the fuck away from, and that is failure. Failure gets this really nasty rap because it just automatically means that you have fucked up, you've screwed up, you've lost something. It means that you are a shitbag of a person. When in fact, I feel like failure has this really incredibly powerful way of guiding us closer to where we actually want to be. So today, I'm going to help you take your power back by getting over your fear of failure, give you some ways to acknowledge what failure looks like and sounds like in your life, throw down some swift kicks in the mental ass, because you know we're going to go there, and help you reframe what failure actually means and how it can be such an incredibly powerful tool for you. Because in reality, have you failed or have you learned? Are you a failure? Or did you have a failed moment? There is no need to continue kicking your own ass for what may have went sideways in the past. And in the same respect, there is no need to continue stopping yourself from doing all the incredible things that you know that you're fucking capable of doing, just because failure might be one of the outcomes. Before we go down the rabbit hole of failure, though, I first want to reintroduce. Look, we have a lot of great new listeners here on the Gutsy Podcast. First, thank you to our continued listeners. I love you. I adore you. Thank you for tuning in and trusting me with your time and your energy each and every week. And to our new friends, if you maybe found us on Apple Podcasts Top 100 under entrepreneurship, yes, I'm going to plug that because I'm really fucking proud of it. Welcome to the Gutsy Podcast. My name is LauraAura. I am an alignment coach for female entrepreneurs, the host here on the Gutsy Podcast, and I am your swift kick in the mental ass, followed by the best hug you've ever had in your life. My goal and role is to help you get out of your own way, to rediscover who you are, what you want, and how you actually want to do this thing. Look, the reason that you're not doing or have the things that you want yet is likely because you've not given yourself permission. We also can't forget about conditioning, thoughts, feelings, expectations, patriarchal bullshit, something a friend, a spouse, a parent, a sibling said to you 10 years ago, or just the pressure of what you're seeing and feeling when you're scrolling through social media. I am here to help you reconnect with who you truly are so that you can have the life that you actually want, so you can build your business in the way that you want it and achieve the things in a way that feel right and beautiful and connected to your soul, not in the way that everyone thinks that you should. There are a few ways that I can support you outside of the podcast. First is my free community. It's called the Gutsy Collective. All of the links of the things that I'm talking about right now, by the way, are going to be in the show notes, or you can just go to LauraAura.com to find them. The Gutsy Collective is a free online community. Twice a month, we get together for collective sessions, on the spot coaching, get your questions answered, be around like-minded people. I also have a group coaching program called Realign to help you get realigned, reconnected back with your mind and in your business. And of course, one-on-one coaching. One of my favorite things in the entire world to do is to take a deep dive with you, help you shift those blocks, get the shit out of the way so that you can actually do the things that you came here to do in the first place. Again, you can find all of that goodness at LauraAura.com. It would be my absolute honor to help and guide and serve you on a deeper level. And if you're just here for the podcast, that's fucking cool too. So let's get into it. So let's talk about fear. You know, everyone's favorite Thursday afternoon topic. Let's talk about all the times that we screwed shit up. I also first want to acknowledge that I have screwed up so many things. Guys, I have failed more times than I can even count on my hands. I have made wrong decisions. I have invested in things that brought me nothing back. I've launched programs that have completely just like nothing, crickets, zero. I have lost money. I have lost my mind. I have lost my courage. So I speak to you and with you from a space of I get it, because I've been there. And you know why I've been there? And you know why you're there sometimes? Because we're fucking human beings. And so we're going to start this off right away with saying that failure is a part of life. And I know you don't want to hear that. I know you want everything to work perfectly. I know that you want your launches to be amazing. And to have all the clients that you want in the world and have all the confidence and courage and all the right words and all the right moments. But is that realistic? I would dare to even say that having that type of mindset that everything is perfect or always put together is kind of setting you up for a different type of failure. Because when you're not taking action, when you're not doing things, when you're not putting yourself out there, when you're not making your videos or offering your services or going to a conference or, showing up in this world because you're too afraid that it's going to completely fall out from underneath of you, isn't that keeping you from having that thing in the first place? Failure is such a fucking illusion. And I'm not downplaying the fact that sometimes shit gets really hard and really ugly. Look, I have filed bankruptcy. If you've been a listener of the show for any amount of time, you know that my family and I went through bankruptcy. And in that moment, that felt like such a failed moment. Like I was such a failure. There was this like kind of courtroom hearing where I guess us and a bunch of other people that were filing at the time had to go and sit in front and like kind of testify and verify what we were doing and sign the papers. And it was fucking humiliating. I remember saying to my husband, I can't believe that they're saying my business name out loud. What if that ruins my reputation? What if people think that I'm a shitty person? What if people think that I don't know how to manage my money? What if people think that my business is going under? I made that failed moment mean that I was a failure. And this is one of the biggest takeaways that I want you to really sink into. Are you a failure or have you had a failed moment? And what actually is failure to begin with? Okay, well, something clearly didn't go right, right? Like you had a plan, you made an investment, you put your time into something, you went to try to do something, you launched something, you made a phone call, whatever it is, some sort of action led to something not working out. And sometimes that leads to deeper consequences. In my case, filing for bankruptcy, the chapter that we filed in, resulted in my cars being repoed out of my driveway. Again, a moment and circumstance that I made the truth that I was a failure. And here's what I learned about that particular situation. I learned that I innately was not a failure. And did it take some time to feel that? Yes, absolutely, of course. I learned that I had a moment of time, an opportunity, yes, an opportunity to learn something, to grow from this information, to have knowledge and new tools in my toolkit to not only better support myself and my family, but to all of you moving forward. You see, a lot of times failure it's in disguise because that moment, that scenario, that situation is trying to teach you something. It wants you to grow. And it meaning the universe, God, whatever it is, source, spirit, fucking a can of Pringles, whatever it is that you really resonate with. The universe wants you to win. But sometimes we need to go through scenarios to gather the thoughts, the experiences, the tools, the information that we need to continue on our quest. Look, had I not gone through bankruptcy, I don't know that I would be able to guide you in the best way that I can now here in this season today. That situation humbled the shit out of me. And it also taught me that sometimes shitty things happen to good people. It taught me that sometimes good people make bad decisions that lead to things that go a little off road. And it taught me that these human experiences cannot be avoided. In fact, the sooner you embrace them, the sooner you start to put action and momentum behind your thoughts, your feelings, your goals, your ideas, the sooner you can get to the failing moments. And I'm sure you're not running to them like, oh, yeah, Laura, I can't wait to go fucking fail. Hell yeah, that's what I want to do next week. But the thing I want you to understand is that any failed moment does not equate that you are a fuck up, that you are a failure, that somehow innately you suck at everything and should do nothing. Because you honestly cannot make a wrong decision when you are deciding from an aligned space. What I mean by that is you're not making decisions based off of the who's and the shoulds and the expectations and what everyone else is doing, right? Going outside of yourself. And if you have been in a position or are currently in a position where you are in the thick of that, I want to give you some grace. I want to give you the opportunity to say, you know what? I probably didn't make the best decision, and I'm going to give myself grace because right now I'm learning. And by making a mistake, by having a failed moment, I am learning something new. Look, failure is nothing more than a redirect. It's like, okay, if I want to go down this portion of the road, if it's not meant for you, failed moment. If it was for you and you were supposed to gain some experience or knowledge from it, you're going to go through it regardless. So the sooner you can start to embrace that failure is a part of existing as a human being, the sooner that you can get on to doing the things that you fucking know in your core that you were put on this earth to do. I know that you might be scared of making the wrong decision. You might fear that things are not going to work out. You might fear that you put a lot of time, money, and effort into something and it just completely flops. You might be afraid of what other people's thoughts and opinions are saying. And a lot of fear is about loss of time, loss of money, loss of physical, like actual physical things. But are those all the things that actually matter? Look, when you can start to step out of fear, which is a very big emotion, it's a natural emotion, right? We're not here to knock it. We're not smacking it across the nose, although sometimes it would feel better to do that. But we're just saying, like, hey, fear, I see you, I hear you, I understand that you are part of this journey, but we are not driving this thing through you today. And so when you can step out of your mind for a hot second, doing things like this, listening to the podcast, journaling, meditating, running, singing songs, whatever it is that like helps you like move your body, move your energy, stepping out of your mind for a second, talking to somebody that you trust, you can start to reframe things and see things from a bird's eye view versus trying to like shift and navigate things when you're down into the trenches. Failure is nothing more than an opportunity to learn, a chance for you to get closer to the thing that you actually want. Like I mentioned, you go down a road, and if it's not meant for you, or you're going to get what you need in that scenario, your only role, your only job in that scenario is to stay open-minded, to look at things through the lens of curiosity, to say, okay, what went wrong there? What did I learn from this situation? What do I need to know for the next time? Let me check back in with myself. Where did I maybe disconnect from my own self, my own thoughts, my own desires? Where did I get that gut feeling that I was like, man, I just don't want to do this, but I chose to do it anyway? If you start to reframe what failure means to you, you can start to take your power back. So I ask you today, what does failure mean to you? How can you start to look at this through the lens of curiosity? What fear is coming up and bubbling up for you in whatever situation that you're in or decision that you need to make? What fear, what root is really driving this like type of energy? Because here's the thing, focusing on the worst case scenario is focusing on your limitations. Let me say that again for you. Focusing on the worst case scenario is focusing on your limitations. I know that you've heard it a million times, but look at the amazing people that you follow. Look at the authors that you look up to. Look at the speakers that you lean into. Look at the people in your industry that you're just like, gosh, they're just doing amazing things. Do you think that they got there on a perfect yellow brick road? Do you think that it was like driving on butter, just like the smooth sailing, like there were puppy dogs and rainbows and a fucking unicorn came out of the bushes and like shot magical glitter that tastes like sugar into their face? No. Okay. That's not realistic. They got to where they are because they failed at some shit. They learned some shit. They redid some shit. And now they are the shit. So much shitting in there. Fear is an acronym for false expectations appearing real. I didn't come up with that. I don't know who did, but false expectations appearing real. You are sitting and planning for the worst. And you know what? Sometimes the worst happens. And that's the hard, honest truth today. You're also insanely capable of overcoming obstacles. You've done it before. I know that you have. You've learned some things, you got some knowledge, you built up your confidence, and you got back in there. And when you went to do it again, you were stronger because of it. You had more knowledge, you had more tools in your tool belt. You were like, okay, I know how this went the last time, and this time I'm going to choose to do it differently. In my opinion, the only real failed moment is when something went sideways, kind of fell out from underneath of you. It didn't go as expected. It just completely failed. The only way that I see it as an actual failure is if you allow that negative experience to stop you from your fullest potential, because you are smart, you are kind, you are wise, you have ambition for days. Your ideas, your thoughts, your services are here to make an impact. Are you going to continue to allow a failed moment to stop you from not only impacting yourself, but impacting others? And who actually give two shits what other people think? Now, look, that is way easier said than done when I'm just sitting here on this microphone and nobody's talking shit about me that I'm aware of. I understand the power of other people's words and opinions. But if you continue to allow their what ifs and their maybes and their whispers to control you, they're winning and you're staying still. These failed moments give you the opportunity to get closer to where you want to be. It gives you the opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to get realigned with yourself. And one of the easiest ways to do that is the Powerback process. So we're going to go through it real quick, just for a refresher and in this particular scenario. So the Powerback process is an acronym, AURA, AURA. First and foremost, A, awareness. Build awareness around your thoughts, your feelings. What's going on right now? What am I saying to myself? What am I afraid of? What am I telling myself about myself? You unpack it. Get curious. Where is this coming from? What am I actually worried about? What am I actually putting my mind and my energy into? R, reframe it. You know what? I can do this. I'll figure it out. And even if it does go sideways and it doesn't work out, I'm going to have more knowledge and I'll figure it out again. And I am willing to continue tinkering with it and figuring it out along the way until I get it to the place that feels good. And A, align. Take aligned action. Instead of sitting in your mind, overthinking, worrying, doing the what if, the hows, and the whens type of situation, give yourself permission to take messy action. You may not have all the answers, and that's okay. You may not have it all figured out. That's okay. You may just be on the other side of a failed moment. That's okay. All that actually matters is, are you willing to continue on your journey? Are you willing to look at a failed moment and say, you know what? Okay, I see that. That didn't feel good, but I know that my purpose and my mission is bigger than this moment. Aligned action is giving yourself permission to take messy action. It's giving yourself permission to not know all the answers, but taking the next step. It's permission to play with it, figure it out, maybe have another failed moment and find out what doesn't work. It's also permission to be a human, to experience what you need to experience, because you are building something so much bigger than this moment. The knowledge that you're gaining may not make sense right now. And it may not make sense in the moment in the future when you may experience this again. But one day on this journey, I promise you, if you stay moving forward on following your gut, on following your intuition, on following the journey that you keep feeling pulled to, it doesn't make sense to anybody or anything, but there's just a deep innate knowing. I promise you that if you continue to follow that, all these failed moments are going to make sense. So what if today you stopped focusing on your limitations and rather started focusing on your journey, started focusing on the excitement that, hey, I just learned something. This is going to be a part of something. I don't know how to make sense of it right now, but I'm excited about it. hey, I am willing to do something today. I'm willing to take an action. I'm willing to reach out to someone. I'm willing to make the video. I'm willing to post the email. I'm willing to continue on this journey. And even though I don't have it all figured out and it feels kind of messy, that's okay, because messy action is a whole lot better than sitting and spinning in my own shithole thoughts, trying to convince me that I'm a failure. Because now I know that those failed moments are actually getting me closer to the thing that I actually want to do. So the next time your mind wants to start going 1,000 miles an hour, walk through the Powerback process. I'm telling you, it's an in the moment type of scenario. Catching yourself saying those shit-tastic things to yourself is one of the most powerful things that you can do. When you have awareness around your thoughts instead of you're just like running on a freaking hamster wheel, that awareness is power. And that power gives you the option to choose differently. That power gives you the option to continue forward. That power gives you the courage to make mistakes and know that it's part of your journey. So I'll ask you again, are you a failure? Or was it a failed moment that actually gave you a whole lot of goodness that keeps you on your journey and gets you closer to where you actually want to be? My failed moment, that singular one, because there are many, but that failed moment of sitting in that courtroom, that failed moment of watching my cars get repoed out of my driveway in front of my fucking neighbors, I know that that did not equate me to being a failure. It helped me to have a deeper connection with myself, to have a deeper connection with my message, and to be able to guide incredible women like you all around the world. Remember, my friends, failure is not the thing that's stopping you. Your mind is. So if your mind can have that much power to stop you, I would dare to say that your mind has 10 times more power to keep you going. You are not a failure. You are a human. So let yourself be a freaking human. Look, next Tuesday's episode of the Gutsy Podcast is a really good one. We're talking about your vagina. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Particularly finding happiness through your vagina. Look, your vag is like a portal of awesomeness. And Naomi Gale went viral on TikTok for this topic. She just wrote and launched a book. There is so much goodness where if you allow yourself to reconnect to yourself with your body, and especially through your vagina, you can literally make some real life magic happen. And let's be honest, feels pretty good along the way too. Until then, I encourage you and invite you to come over and play with me on TikTok. I am at that LauraAura. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.